Oh, come on, guy, give me a break. I mean, if I was in your shoes, oh, I wouldn't die like such a bitch like you just did, you fool. Fuck you. It is time to slime. And this guy is getting shot in the face. This guy over here is also getting shot in the face. Sorry, buddy. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. Hold still in the face. Oh, God. Rude. Oh, this was art. I mean, gee. Is that guy dead yet? God. Okay, well, that was poorly handled. I watched, you know, Avatar 3 recently, while the movie itself was absolutely appallingly terrible. It did give me the urge to kill aliens. It's a shame the Na'vi aren't a faction you can kill in this game, because they are very smug and annoying. Stupid little sex tales. There was a surprising amount of implied sexual assault in that movie. I don't know if that's a normal human thing. I was under the impression that Avatar was kind of like a family franchise, so I was quite surprised to see so much rape in the movie. Well, I mean, I know that's maybe not the nicest word to use, but I mean, I don't know how else you're supposed to see it. You know, there's a scene where Quaritch like holds down his very irritating son Spider, while his new girlfriend, his art-ho, goth, psychotic GF, forcibly inserts herself into him. I don't know what James Cameron intended us to read into that scene, but I found it somewhat disturbing, and I'm not even human. Maybe it's a cultural thing. Oh, crap. I mean, is that... I mean, I guess they're aliens, but Quaritch isn't really an alien, is he? And Spider's also, I guess, technically a human. Is that something normal? Because then later in the movie, that very, very... Okay, so there's a lot of problems I found with the film. These flying guys. Very annoying. But even the Illuminate probably don't, you know, forcibly insert themselves into their backpack with their head penis. Oh! You know, so I guess they're not as weird as the Na'vi, who are disturbing people. And, yeah, so then Sigourney Weaver, who's, you know, doing a very cringe-inducing job of playing like a 14-year-old. She also gets tentacle raped someone. There's a lot of forced tentacle insertion in the movie. I mean, is it boomer hentai? Is that boomer hentai? Like James Cameron kind of living out this weird fantasy he has of being sort of dominated by a 9-foot-tall blue woman with a penis on her head? I mean, because if that's his thing, that's fine. I don't, you know, I guess I'm not hating on it as such. If you can get $400 million to play out your incredibly disturbing sexual fantasies on screen, I guess more power to you. But I don't know, it struck me as odd, I guess, is all. Is that normal? Are more films than you'd think actually just the author, you know, living out their incredibly obscure, strange fetish? I mean, to be fair to Cameron, you know, it must suck for him, because he had to get this, you know, film franchise made, and now they've made AI, so he probably could have, you know, just gotten AI, you know, like Sea Dance or something, you know, typed in like, make me a video of, you know, a 9-foot-tall blue woman, you know, having sex with a disabled man, and I probably would have done it. He didn't need to go and make, you know, a pitch to a bunch of Hollywood executives like, hey, give me an enormous amount of money to make this incredibly strange. Oh my god, oh god, oh god. So yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think if there are any other, you know, weird fancy things. Like maybe Toy Story, the guy who wrote that was actually into the idea of kind of... No, because even that doesn't work. I mean, there's nothing vaguely sort of, you know, that disturbing in Toy Story. Maybe Forrest Gump, you know, a guy had like a cock fetish, and that's why Forrest is so inexplicably willing to take Jenny back after she contracts HIV and, you know, basically abandons him at every opportunity. Who directed that movie? I don't know. I feel like it's probably someone whose name you don't know, like Chris Columbus or something, you know, like the guy who directed all the Harry Potter films where, you know, no one actually remembers him because he doesn't have a terribly distinct visual style. I don't think, I'm trying to think, and I don't think there has been a film that is more blatantly fetish bait than Avatar. I mean, really, like, you know, there's, what could you possibly have as an example? Is Saving Private Ryan? You know, there's nothing. I mean, even weird films like The Room, it's not as blatantly sexual wish fulfillment. You know, Tommy Wiseau could conceivably, oh my god, ow. Come on, come on, come on, turn around, turn around, turn around. Get some, get some, get some. Come on, heavy machine gun, do your thing. Yes. Take that, you stupid gorilla robot. Now I think about it, James Cameron also directed Aliens, which I know, I mean, it wasn't his idea, but it also features humans being forcibly penetrated by an alien force. And, you know, in that movie he went, you know, that movie featured a lot more of the, you know, I mean, there was, wow, hang on, okay, because Aliens also had a kind of, there was a motherhood thing going on with Ripley in that movie where, you know, the kind of I guess the theme running through the picture was motherhood. You have the queen alien, and then Ripley with Newt, you know, acting as a kind of surrogate for the daughter she lost while she was drifting around in space. But then you also have, you know, Kate Winslet's character in Avatar 3. Who's kind of like a pregnant warrior goddess type thing. And I wonder if maybe, now I'm thinking about it, is that also something he's into? Because people are into pregnant stuff. Holy crap, yeah, I mean, because, you know, she is like partially naked the whole time. She like jumps in the water, she gets very wet, and, you know, you see her kind of doing the whole warrior queen thing. And I mean, from any interview you see with James Cameron, he's very into the idea of the kind of power of the feminine, and, you know, kind of disparaging towards masculinity. So does he have a weird kind of prego fetish thing? Because Aliens is the perfect synthesis of that. You've got, you know, the whole you know, the forced impregnation by the alien parasite, and then you also have, you know, the mother thing. And oh my god, have I cracked something? Did people realize this before? Have people understood that this is the hidden meaning behind James Cameron's filmography? Is this forbidden knowledge? Have I stumbled upon something here that shouldn't have been discovered? Is this normal, perhaps, for humans, and maybe I'm making a big deal out of something that just isn't a big deal? I mean, I would get it if I was, because, again, I don't really understand human social mores. Perhaps this happens all the time. I mean, maybe, you know, is Harry Potter just like is there like a wizard fetish? I mean, that I'm missing because of a lack of contextual understanding? Oh my god, that's a lot of them. I don't think it is, though. I'm going to be honest with you. I think I think Cameron has. I also think that maybe because of the success of the first two movies, he kind of got a little bit overconfident with his fetish. And, you know, I mean, because the third movie really goes hard on it. I mean, there's a scene where, you know, Quaritch and his new, you know, alien GF are lying in bed together, completely naked. And, you know, the clear implications they've been having sex. There's a bit where she says, "You'll be my slave, my pleasure slave," which, you know, again, is something that I think most families would not understand the concept of pleasure slaves. I don't think it's something that, you know, oh, daddy, what did the blue lady mean by, like, be my slave and pleasure me in the movie? You know, it's not a conversation really want to be having around the dinner table. After you see the blue, you know, you think you're going to see the blue alien, you know, underwater movie, and then you get home and have to explain to your son the intricacies of, you know, sadomasochism and, you know, oh dear, kind of master slave play, I suppose. I mean, it's, you know, I'm not trying to be a prude or anything. I just think that's probably not what people signed up for when they bought a ticket to see, you know, the Way of Water. Sorry, Fire and Ash. I mean, the joke was Fire and Ash because the movie's not great, but now I'm thinking maybe, like, Cameron was like, yeah, no, that's it. That's the point. It's about tapping that ass, or I guess being tapped. Maybe I'm seeing something that isn't there. I hope I am, because this is disturbing. Oh, he's right there. Oh, crap. I'll tell you this right now. If I die, you guys are dying too, so how about this? This sucks. Oh, come on, guy. Give me a break. I mean, if I was in your shoes, oh, I wouldn't die like such a bitch like you just did, you fool. Fuck you. You know, the whales in Avatar 3, they have their things in their mouths. And, you know, the Na'vi, it's pretty clear they're willing to kind of stick their thing wherever. I wonder if they ever... Do I want to say it? I'll say it. I wonder if they ever... Is that normal for a Na'vi? Because, I mean, they do it to all the other animals. Do they ever stick it in the whales? And if they don't stick it in the whales, why don't they stick it in the whales? Because, you know, if it's all chill, you know, we're all friends here. You know, why not? But then you have to, like, climb in their mouth. I feel like that's like a whole deviant art thing. Oh, crap. Oh, nice. I'm not saying Cameron's a bad guy for blatantly inserting his incredibly strange fetish into one of the largest movies of all time, which is expressly a family film. I'm not saying he's a bad guy for doing that. You might think he is, and I'd be hard-pressed to disagree with you. But it's not really my place to, you know... Again, my children pretty much come out fully mature. I mean, I'm only about 4 years old myself, so, you know, I'm not going to be the one who's saying, oh, think of the children, but, you know, well, you know, I feel like you guys should be a little bit more discerning about, you know, the movie made like $2 billion, so clearly some of that is people taking their family to see the movie that expressly has, you know, like, I guess people forcing themselves on others and animals. I think they should, all I'm saying is I think they should have had a clearer idea of how exactly those head tails worked. You know, what's the deal there? Is that like a sex thing, or is it just like, I don't know, is it just like a, you know, having a really good conversation? Because that's what he does in the first movie, you know, him and Neytiri, they get very close and they stick their tentacles together, and it's kind of implied that that's like a sex thing. So, you know, is it a sex thing, or is it just like a, maybe they, you know, it's like they stayed up on the phone together all night just talking, you know, and then, you know, that's a little bit more family friendly, and it makes it less weird that they do it to the animals too. I don't know. Maybe you guys in chat could let me know what you think. There's no one in chat, but that would be a fun one for the future. Do you think the Avatar series could have more clearly delineated the difference between friendship and, you know, forced sexual acts? Because I would say so. Okay, this is going pretty well. I mean, again, the point was to try and do a solo dive, but, you know, it feels nice to win every once in a while. And I think I have been distracted by how disturbed I was from the Avatar film. Also, at points, I became concerned that I was developing some kind of slime dementia because I had recently watched the second one, and some of the scenes were exactly the same as they were in the previous movie. I mean, exactly the same. To the point, I think they reused some footage. You know, there was a bit at the end when they're on a ship that's on fire and it's underwater and Jake is sneaking around stabbing people. Also, Jake, Sally, and again, maybe I'm just, because I'm slime, I just don't get it. But he seems very sneaky and cruel and immoral. Which, again, no problem with that personally. You know, if that's what human heroes are like, it just seemed a little bit, I guess, not very heroic that he was so willing to, you know, murder his son. And, you know, he's very sneaky. There's a lot of, you know, half the people Jake kills, he like sneaks up on them and stabs them from behind, which there's nothing wrong with that, I guess. If you're fighting a guerrilla war, it's probably necessary. It just seems, I don't know, it's just a little bit, it's not very sporting. I mean, if it was up to me, I'd just drop onto their head from above and sort of devour their brains. Well, not devour their brains, I don't eat brains, but, you know, like melt their skull using the acidity that is, you know, normal to me. But yeah, I guess maybe it's normal. I don't know. I just feel like, you know, sneaky guys. Oh fuck. And Neytiri, I mean, she just really wants to kill Spider, huh? I mean, I get maybe it's, I don't know, as someone who has created many offspring via mitosis, I don't really understand what it's like to have adopted children and, I guess, your natural children. But I feel like, you know, the right thing to do is to try not to make them feel like they are less than, because they are not yours biologically. And, you know, Spider, he sucks. I mean, he's really annoying. But he's an okay kid. I mean, you know, his heart is in the right place, even if he's, you know, he's gross looking. And you know, this is coming from someone who thinks all human beings are gross looking. I think the Navi are gross looking. Probably you watching this, if I saw you, I'd think you're disgusting. But, you know, I wouldn't say that. I would maybe imply it through my actions. But I mean, Terry is really keen on killing this kid. And then Jake's kind of into it too, which I get that sometimes you have to compromise in a relationship. That's normal and I guess healthy. I just think he maybe could have compromised on, I don't know, where they sent their kids to school. Or, you know, maybe he wanted his stupid asshole son who always fucks everything up to be, you know, maybe doing team sport, whereas Terry wanted him to be maybe involved in something like tennis. And I could see you disagreeing over that, maybe, and that causing some friction. But, you know, I guess, you know what, maybe he's a better husband than he is a father. Which is fine. You know, no one's perfect. And I guess if you know, he did have other kids, so I suppose making the marriage work is a priority, even if it means, you know, you have to make sacrifices, right? And sometimes that sacrifice is your gross, fleshy, pink human son with dreadlocks, who's full of mushrooms that help him breathe. Would you say squids or just squid? Because I'm pretty sure squid is the plural of squid. You know, I'm not saying, you know, obviously grammar isn't the most important thing when you're in space, but I mean, if we lose that, what separates us from the aliens, you know? Squid. I mean, I don't want to be a grammar Nazi, but I guess the meta is that we are kind of Nazis anyway, so... Imagine how sick it would be to just kill all the Navi with these guns. Take that shit, nature-raping freaks. This one's for Quaritch and the boys. Oh wait, did I... No, okay. Squid. Honestly. What are we even fighting for if we can't keep the language safe?
Pelican 1 preparing to depart. Shuttle launch in 20 seconds.
Come on. Come on, boys. Yes, we're all heading home. the victory with the win.